one of the reasons I've made education my life's work was, this is going way back to, I took a year off from college to work in my mother's inner city tutoring program here, a couple miles from where we are now on the south side. And one of the young men I was working with happened to be a basketball player, asked for help to prepare for the ACT. He wanted to go to college. I said, fantastic. He had played by all the rules. He was on the B honor roll at his high school, stayed out of the gangs, didn't use drugs. And we sat down to start working. I'll never forget, he was basically functionally illiterate. He couldn't put together a paragraph. He could barely read. And this was a 16-year-old young man who had no idea how far behind he was. He had just been passed through a system because there had been no honest conversation with him about his academic strengths and weaknesses. And so when we fail to tell the truth, when we fail to let students and their parents, very importantly, know, here's your strengths, here's your weaknesses, here's what you have to do together to improve, we do our kids a tremendous, tremendous disservice.
Is there something that the federal government could do, though, more on the front end? When you talk about that, you're sort of talking about what happens when transparency finally is there, then kids find out that they're not where they should be. But is there something that the federal government can do to make sure that they get there, rather than just being the sort of conduit for saying, okay, you're not meeting standards?
Yeah, there are lots of things we could do. I would love to see every child in this nation who wanted to have access to high quality early learning. I think that would change things in a remarkable way. And so we would love to play there. And this has been a total bipartisan issue in the real world. Again, we're having trouble in Washington getting a few of our Republican friends in the House and Senate to back this. But the model for this is Oklahoma. It's a pretty conservative state. New governor of Texas, Governor Abbott, pretty conservative governor, top of his list is more access to high quality learning. So what I keep saying is we have to stop playing catch up, to your point. And if we had kids entering school ready to be successful, that just opens up another world of opportunity for them. So that would be way at the top of my list. There's a whole set of other things in terms of more after school programs, more access to tutoring if you need help, those kinds of things. But for me, the goal is not just transparency. Transparency is very important. You guys know that better than anybody. But for me, at the end of the day, it's got to be not just transparency, it's got to be action behind it. So whether it's kids who are behind, whether it's schools that are dropout factories, it's great to have transparency. That's a first step, but transparency doesn't give a child a chance in life. What gives them a chance is access to technology and access to AP classes and access to early childhood education, whatever it might be. And so it's got to be transparency plus action, and that's when we give kids a chance to fulfill their dreams.